It's the K-League MTG Gathering Show.
Barrowgoyf's good. What if we drafted Barrowgoyf and then copied it a bunch? What if we did that? What was Naya butt? It was Naya with a bunch of butt. It wasn't good. The curve started it too. It was just a bunch of very medium cards. Can I finish the sentence? You bet your sweet titty ass I bet on sweet titty asses. Is it crazy to say the deck was short of red source? There are like 10 red sources in there, Groovin. If you're looking at the actual games played, and then like a couple of best of ones in a row, you're like short of source. You're like, oh man, we gotta fucking shove some mountains in here. You are playing Magic wrong. People are like really good at like fishing around for patterns and stuff and seeing patterns that don't actually hold up to data and stuff. You should trust data. You should trust statistics and such more than your understanding of, well, I saw this X amount, so it must be a pattern. I'm gonna grab the Zugin card. I like the Zugin card. I like the Crab card, too. Crab's another good one to clone. Well, okay. I talked myself into Crab. Yeah, 10 red sources for, like, a couple of double red cards is very reasonable. It's so hard for me to pass an Emrakul. But in this case, I'm not going to. Maybe we'll get to sneak it or something. Not really ideal here, huh? I guess I'll take a bolt. I'll drop to Badlands. Black hasn't looked especially open, but who knows? Maybe we wheel this Fire Covenant. These packs where there's just like no black cards. Red cards are all kind of medium. I'm gonna take this Mortuary. Half a thought towards Channel. Blackcleave's interesting. Pest Infest is interesting. Let's grab the Cleave. The Cliffs. Lazy Sunday afternoon. Bronco reveal Emrakul. FOMO could work out well if we get a recurring nightmare later. Woe Strider and Jadar both set up well for the sacrifice deck. Just grab that Hired Claw. Maybe get a little bit more aggressive. Get some 1 mana discard up in this. Clean up the curve a bit. Is Bronco reverse Bob? If you crew it, it's reverse Bob. If you don't crew it, it's regular Bob. Well then. One off-color Mox, please. I'm going to try this Unearth. A couple other interesting things. The Overlord, the Palantir, the Faithless Looting. I should really be drafting Breach because that card is unbeatable. Well, I'll take a Tarn. Little life-death action. If you already have Elegant Parlor, I would take Yard Mesa over Plateau Socks. Yuffie's been really steaming my beans lately. But then we have Mire, Troll, and Strip Mine here. I think I'm going to go with Troll. We'll just have these like self-binning creatures to play well in Reanimator. A little Fury action. Makes that Oliphaunt look a little better. Look at mounting the pitches of Fury. Life Deathing Mag Fury can be sweet too. There's a troll in the dungeon. Just thought I should know. Troll! Troll in the dungeon. I've been more impressed with Bonehoard than Arcfiend lately. Probably not playing either. How many ghosts in the cube? I think like 4 or 5. There's 2 black ones, 1 green one, 1 red one. Who doesn't like a Snuff Out, huh? Perfect magic card. My neck's been really bothering me today. I gotta start doing stretches again. Blood Artist plays pretty well with like Jadar and Woe Strider. Kroxa plays better with Faithless Looting. Got that Yuffie wheel. Nice. I wish Yuffie had art that didn't look like anime, I guess. Hello, Black Lotus. Little Ragavan action. Hey, no pain, no game. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Italian cubers, say hello. Have a good one. Greetings, Italian cubers. Ooh, Bowmasters. Kind of like that Persist. I like a lot of this, actually. Overlord makes a lot of sense. Fable's another loot effect for bidding up the graveyard for the Kroxa and such. I think I'm going to grab that Persist, though. We've got, like, Troll and Oliphaunt that are self-binning. And then Ways of Bidding Crab. I think Persist is just actively good in this deck. Hell yeah, cannot win. Let's fucking streak. I really don't like this pack. So we have Breach and Black Lotus, and we could have LED. I just don't think it's quite right. We'll grab this Fiery Confluence. This robot is a non-legendary. I'll take the Barrowgoyf. Complement the Barrowgoyf real nice like. Blood Crypt, Season Pyromancer, both interesting. Hi, Dave. Can you hear his collar tinkling around? Heard my my wife going to work out. Got a little excited to go say hi. Barrowgoyf is an excellent Unearth target for sure. I checked it. I didn't see Legendary Bongo. I might have misread it. It is weird for anything at all to be non-legendary these days. So I was probably just wrong. Oh, that Ivora is going to be played here. Got these forests in here for that life. I think Jadar comes out. Maybe Woe Strider. Oh, we got these two. We got more lands coming out. Yeah, I guess this is just the deck. Almost like the Sephiroth. One more, like, value card to Unearth Bank. Kolaghan's Command isn't bad. Maybe replace Woe Strider with it. I think this looks solid. Hate the hand, but we do have a turn 1 Ivora, and the Ivora loots, right? I think I'm going to bin the crab off the Mox Emerald. Oh, nice. I think I still want to do that. Can make this a 4/4 this turn. Now we loot away the Kroxa. I guess I should have done that on my turn, right? In case they had a Bolt or a Gallblast or something. Yeah, they're shocking. I'm just going to untap. Naya Poops has indeed been the best deck of the night. It's not been close either. Some really good other decks. And some medium ones too. Oh shit, what up? Hey Balad, 1, 2, 3, thanks for the sob, thanks for 26 months there. Yeah, 3 more days until my birthday. I'm turning fucking 38. Old as shit. Got a few years on me. Have they been good years, though? I wonder if Kolaghan's Command should be rebuying that crab to cast. Filled with tires? I don't know if that's what people mean. Oh yeah, you gotta adjust for the world being on fire. I was hoping to not have to exile the Kroxa, or exile the crab to get the Crux out, but I don't think that's gonna happen. That's all right. If the Kolaghan's Command goes to the graveyard, then you can exile that instead. But I'm just gonna draw the Kolaghan's Command, nuke the graveyard, get Crux into play, make them discard another card. Oh yeah, that's important, Gurkles. Sorry for everything y'all are going through. Yeah, you don't have to work too hard for Kolaghan's command to be value. It'll just always be a 2-for-1. Rank up. Diamond, tier 3. Haven't we done that tonight? Hand looks solid. Couple more reanimation effects than we have critters, but there's still turn 1 Bowmasters. Alright, we'll just ping them and untap and bolt their giant, I guess. If we had an actual reanimate, we could just have their giant right now, which would be pretty groovy. We have 2 land cyclers that would set up our life death and our persist pretty well. Yeah, we did sorcery to the graveyard with the chain lightning, which made it look very silly. Yeah, I think there's a lot of weird propaganda going on right now, Gurkles. People don't realize they're being manipulated. During the last presidential election, there were like hundreds of millions of dollars spent on anti-trans attack ads. And the Democrats spent like nothing on defense, despite the fact that Kamala had more money than God. And so people just like believed the fucking crazy shit they were seeing. And just like ceding to the other side. Just throwing in the towel. It's like, why are you running? Oh, a value Zorin orb? How do we lose? I'm gonna hold on to those Bowmasters so I can combine it with my chain lightning. And the Ragavan can get in once again. This deck might be kind of sick. Trans folk are only 1% of the population, so they don't care about your vote at all. Yeah, but like, if the other side is running on demonizing you, then ignoring it is already losing. You have to say something. You can't just be fucking quiet. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. That seems like a bare minimum baseline. Not something a presidential candidate or any kind of political candidate should be accepting. So I was planning on FOMO binning Troll, but now that we do the Mox, it's like, okay, well, might as well reanimate a Troll this turn, huh? Can you give an example, Zidane? Fair enough. Huge agree, Green Devilman. Like, motivating the base is such an important part of the Dems winning any election ever. And they kind of lose that when they just think that they need to attack to the right every time there's a general election. This Mother of Runes is going to kind of gunk up my Barrowgoyf plans. Well, okay. Zidane, what do you mean by faster? Like, you're making arguments right now that are kind of based on vibes, and not like, you still have not given me an example. You're just saying pushing faster. Pushing faster for what? Equal rights? Because right now it's going in the opposite direction. They are losing their rights. Like, whatever you've heard in terms of trans folk getting more rights, it is going in the trans rights movement is as old as the rest of the LGBTQ movement. Right, Raylan? Is the T of the LGBT here. Trans lady through the first brick at Stonewall. You still have not made a clear example, Zidane. I've asked you, like, very start, I asked for an example, and you're just saying the movement was just pushing stuff fast. You have not given me an example. Like, stuff, saying they're pushing stuff fast is not giving me an example here. It is still vibes based. I would still like something. I'm asking you. You can take your time. I'm not trying to rush you. For the love of God, if you have an actual point here, make it. But just like vibes based, blaming trans folk for wanting equal rights, vaguely, like not specifically, like, isn't like a helpful thing. It kind of just sounds like you're like listening to too much shit on Facebook, right? Well, my uncle said they were going too fast, so there must be something to that. Before Trump, it pushed sports bathrooms. So sports, we're talking about trans rights for kids to play sports and such. that was not a thing that the trans folk were like declaring must be widespread across America, and they weren't making it a central issue. The reason that trans sports became a big central issue, a big talking point in American politics, is because right-wing groups, and they are public about this, pulled it. And that was the one anti-LGBT talking point that they could have that got support from people that didn't understand it. But that was not trans people, like, knocking on school doors and saying, like, you have to blah, 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 blah. The reason trans kids and trans Olympians were allowed to compete is because the orgs that ran those places thought it was fair. They had stats and testing and stuff that the average American voter did not have. And they were like, okay, well, here's the fair way that they can compete. Schools, independent, small schools, agreed to let trans kids play with their friends in these, like, super uncompetitive situations. And right-wingers made it a huge stink, made a huge thing, and pushed their propaganda. That was never trans people moving too fast. This is, again, going back to people just wanting basic human rights. Kids wanting to play games with their other fucking kids. The less than 10 college trans athletes getting demonized as removing opportunities for other college students or something. It's propaganda that you've listened to. That's what freaked other people out? Yeah, but it was not... At no point was that trans people freaking older people out. There was the right wing deciding that that's what they were going to push. Their messaging, their angle, their propaganda. It's not a matter of trans people going too fast or wanting too much. Greedily wanting equal rights. That abandoned air temple is so fucking good here. People were freaked out when schools got desegregated. Yeah. When Martin Luther King fought for civil rights, people told him that he was going too fast. That was like the centrist argument against his call for equal rights. Whereas Deadon, well, no, Chump Nova takes 6, so they can't attack all, and they can't just leave one blocker back for FOMO. I don't know what their hand is, but I assume if I was on their side, I would draw a card with Staff before I did anything here. We got examples natural order, and that's what I was responding to. I don't think the one trans lady and one trans man who have competed at the Olympic level have a significantly denied fucking opportunity for other Olympians, Zidane, and make the Olympic Committee like ignore their scientific findings that they'd ruled on in the past. Hey, Chungtastic, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 91 months. All because some weird freaks want to deny some people rights. That doesn't make sense to me. Ah, shit. But yeah, this is all like part of the purpose of making this a wedge issue. Like now we're talking about whether like denying a group of people rights, equal rights, is supported by science or not. These kids can play sports, those kids can't. Okay, so they have a Titania, but they didn't have a land to rebuy. Could have been scarier. Let's FOMO into Unearth, huh? And then we'll get a Barrowgoyf trigger. Beauty of a turn. Just similar culture war bullshit. Yeah. You don't see women transitioning to men dominating sports. That's not true, Jello Salad. For one, you don't really see the opposite in terms of like dominating sports. Like the alt-right will see a trans lady getting like 5th or something, and then have a lady that got 7th go on a speaking tour on all of the news network about how trans women are taking away opportunities. And heaven forbid somebody wins some shitty little event. But the same number of male to female and female to male Olympic athletes have competed, have made it to that level. We've had like one male Olympic skier. But I would strongly reject that it's a problem in either direction. It's just about fairness, right? This is like not the case. It was again polled as something that like they could pass the vibes test off to for low info voters, and people fell for it. People existing is never a problem. People having equal rights is never a problem. But what if so-and-so's bone structure matters here? The average trans participant is like a half-inch taller based on blah, blah, blah. But you could separate any section of population. Like, you're not going to fucking deny Western women competing against Asian women because they're taller, right? Doesn't make any fucking sense. You're not going to deny Michael Phelps the ability to compete because he's got his webbed feet or whatever it is. Oh, I was supposed to crack that food, huh? Silly meme. The Scandinavian population is taller than the rest of the world, and that's why they should be banned from the Olympics. It's only fair. A2 John, thanks for the sub. Break every sport down to the individual. Can't have differences. Yeah. Suppose. Yeah, right, 7. Okay, you are again spouting propaganda, Zidane. The human brain, like, never really stops developing, and the number that people give for that, for when it starts slowing down, is 25. It's not 18. So if you're gonna, like, talk about what is and what is not adult, you're, like, already losing. But 2, the reason that people transition younger is because it is a life-saving thing to do. The reason that it's prescribed by doctors is because that is the appropriate treatment and care for being born in the wrong body. And kids with supporting families that respect their pronouns and everything don't fucking die as often. People acting that, like, kids, their parents, and their doctors can't make appropriate medical decisions. That they're just kids. They're just individual kids. What could they know? It's like, okay, but if a kid needs to have back surgery, if they need to have chest reduction surgery, if they need to, like, literally have gender affirming care, that a doctor prescribes, straight people tend to be totally fine with it. They're not questioning, like, oh, well, she won't know. She won't know if this is something that she really wants. Meanwhile, her, like, spine is melting together because her chest is too large or what have you. In general, you can tell when people are in pain or not, whether they have a 30-year-old brain or a 10-year-old brain. And in general, we trust parents and doctors to make those decisions along with the kid. But when there's an intense level of propaganda, you have people saying shit like that, like, what would the kid know? The kid couldn't know. They couldn't know. They're just a kid. Well, it's not them. There's a whole community at work here, including multiple medical professionals. And at the end, I was like, no, I'm happy being a guy, but it's something that I put like active thought into. I didn't have to literally transition to realize that was not for me. But also, you should decide your future career by the time you're 16. Yeah. Leave army recruiters in the fucking high schools. I think I'm supposed to Ivora here, so the FOMO can pump it before serving, maybe. Yeah, that's one of the freedoms that I was talking about, that I was vaguely referencing, Snarky Skunk. Is having, like, open-minded parents that wouldn't stifle that sort of creative thought. Or a super restrictive religion or anything. This seems like an excellent spot for Fiery Confluence. Shit. Alright, well that's a bummer, but not the end of the world. At least we still get the Displacer Kitten off the board. Does this all border down to having a better educated population? I mean, yeah, that helps, right? That's one of the reasons that I think, like, people give me shit for talking about politics and stuff, but if you don't care about stuff that if you don't talk about stuff that you care about, like, who's going to, right? Who's going to take the time to fucking address that propaganda? And then the FOMO could untap itself here and get 4 damage in. Yeah. So the opponent is self-fetching, targeting with Bobble, I think because they have a fetch. Yeah, they're going to decide if they want to fetch now or fetch on my turn. To see, they're getting a kind of scry off the Mishra's Bobble. They're looking at the top card. If they'd wanted to keep it, they would hold on to the fetch, and then they'd crack on my turn. Because they didn't want to draw that card they fetched then. Meanwhile, we have a pretty solid turn 1 here. We can either persist an Oliphaunt or fire off the Barrowgoyf. And I think Barrowgoyf is a good enough card that I'm just going to do that. Self-grows and all that. And the Oliphaunt is not going to be difficult to get into play either. Oh, forcing, interesting. So we have to decide whether we want to bin Oliphaunt turn 2 and then persist it on, or turn 1 and then persist it on turn 2, or do we want to play out a Hired Claw and get that rolling? I think I prefer the Oliphaunt line, so I'm just going to pass here. Oh, maybe I should have just turned one into the Claw and then persisted the Barrowgoyf, huh? Well, the Unearth can get the Barrowgoyf back at least. Commander Door resub for 62 months. Appreciate you, Commander Door. Said, what up? How is the ass eating going? Pretty well. There's been a bit of that. I didn't mean to hello them. Very good chance I should not be casting this Bowmasters here. Oh my god. Alright, I might just be screwed. My best draw in this situation, where we're all drained... We had a really good opener, too, by the way. Force of Will is a heck of a card. Our best draw from here is probably Kroxa, actually. All this burn... BBC is pretty good. Al Jazeera's Dees. Oh, hey, that Kroxa card I mentioned. Hey, Tater Jim thinks the $4 is in 20 cents. So the shell dock is on. Well, looks like they're going to fire it off on my end of turn, whatever it is. Stock up, nice. Doing a quick card type check for a potential Barrowgoyf rip. Interesting, Binning Twister. Our hand's probably good. Maybe they've got like lands and they just like don't want to take the 3 damage. But I would assume their hand's pretty good if they got Twister. Eh, shit. Well, they're not even in Fiery Confluence range, are they? They're 90 me down to 3. GG. Five and 3. That deck was solid. I could have seen that deck trophying for sure.